Hello buzzers, John here, and Happy New Year. This is our first video of 2021, and I think quite fittingly, we'll do something using Photoshop 2021. So I want to introduce you to a new tool that's there. You may have played with it, you may have seen it, but it's called the Sky Replacement command. And it's something that is actually quite special because it makes light work of something that used to take ages to do really effectively and really well. What it lets you do is, in a nutshell, replace the sky. It uses artificial intelligence algorithms to detect the sky in a picture and 9 times out of 10 gets it right, and then it transplants a new sky where your old sky was. So, for example, with one click, you can change a sky to this, or you could change a sky to this. Or if you want to get a bit more Lord of the Rings about things, you could change your sky to something a bit more spectacular. Or indeed, you could go for something else entirely. The choice is yours, and there's a bunch of preset skies supplied. But what I want to do is first of all show you how to use the tool, and then I want to show you how you can add your own skies. Because before long, people will start to spot the preset skies that have been supplied and preloaded into this new Photoshop command. So really, you want to use your own skies rather than the ones supplied by Adobe. Okay, well, let's just shut it down for the time being. We'll go back to our original image and we'll start from scratch. So here's my shot. There it is there. It's a shot of Normanton Church at Rutland Water, so quite local to me. And you can see there, I do have a sky in place, but it's a bit bland, a bit nothing, and not really selling the foreground and subject in a way that's suitable. Now, of course, this is the natural sky. This is how it is. So if you want to be a purist, of course, you don't have to use this tool. But I thought it'd be interesting to go through how you can use it if you want to create an image rather than a real photograph from your landscape shots, or indeed any other shot that features a sky as part of the background. Okay, well, to get to it, what you first need to do is open up your image, and then you go to Edit and down to Sky Replacement. Click on that and it will load up the palette and will load whichever sky is selected in the box at the top here, this sky box. So it takes a little while to process. It's got lots of work to do, lots of number crunching, but very soon it will display your new sky in place. Now, if you click on this sky box, the drop-down arrow here, you'll see there are lots of skies to choose from. You've got blue, spectacular, and sunsets that are preloaded. So we'll start with the blue skies because that's really what we should have in this particular shot. So if we open up the blue skies, we can go for the standard graduated bland blue sky. Just click on that once and it will load it. You could, of course, go for something a bit more interesting, maybe this one here. Let's click on that one, and that will then load this new sky into it. That's a bit dark at the moment, but we can adjust it if we want to. You want something a bit more spectacular without going into spectacular? How about this one here? Let's see what that does. And that's rather bold and quite interesting. If you go down to spectacular, this is your Lord of the Rings zone where you can do some more interesting things, but you can pick whatever you like. It doesn't matter if they're vertical orientation or landscape orientation. You can pick whichever, and it will automatically size it to fit your image. If we go down, we've got sunsets as well, so we could, let's just close blue skies. We could pick one of the sunsets, maybe this one here. We'll click on that, and that will process, fill in the blank, and swap out your sky for whatever you've selected. Okay, so let's start with the blue skies. We'll just pick one of these. Let's go for, I don't know which one to choose now. That one there, should we see what that looks like? No, that's a bit dull, actually. It's not right. How about this one here? That'll do us, and we'll see if we can get that to work well with our image. Okay, so once you've got your sky selected, the one you want to use, just click off this box here, and then you've got lots of controls. You've got shift edge, fade edge, sky adjustments, foreground adjustments, and output at the bottom. So what we want to do, first of all, is explain the actual sliders, what they do. Now, Shift Edge allows you, let me just zoom in a bit on the sky so you can see what's going on with it. Oops, just trying to get my zoom to work. That'll do. Now, Shift Edge effectively blends the old sky with the new sky. So if we take that all the way to -100, you get pretty much most of your old sky with a little bit of new sky coming through. If you go all the way to +100, then you get pretty much all the new sky, but you also often get problems, blending problems, and you can see there that the church here has actually been, ruined by the sky replacement. It's coming through and over blending and having too much of it. So normally for Shift Edge, if you go about in the middle, round about 0, then you should get a decent result kind of off the peg. Fade Edge blends the edges of the new sky with whatever's been cut out of the original scene. So taking that all the way to 0 will give you quite a hard edge. You can see there the horizon doesn't look real here. Taking it all the way to the right tends to give the best results. That gives a better blend and gradually brings the new sky in over the top of the old one. For sky adjustments, we can go for brightness and temperature. So brightness, let me move it over a little bit. Brightness will obviously brighten up the sky and make it more in keeping with your scene. Take it down and you can make it darker. So you can just blend that brightness control to get the right kind of look. Now you notice my sky's moved a bit. You can move it around with this move tool. You can actually shift the sky around to wherever you want. And the move tool is used in conjunction with the scale tool. It defaults to 100%. That gives you full width across the sky, but you can zoom in on the sky, make it a bit bigger, so then you can move it around to get your cloud formations lined up however you want with your foreground subject. If you want to, you can also flip the sky by going simply a right to left lateral reversed sky, so you can flip it one way or the other, whichever works best with your subject. After that, we get to foreground adjustments, and the one mainly to use is going to be multiply. This is a blending mode within Photoshop, and that's blending the sky layer, the new sky layer, with the old one and multiplying it. You can use screen as well, but that is often not as successful. The blend actually affects this area here, the kind of the horizon zone. And you can see there we've got a very bright church now, whereas it looks better and more natural if we've got a dark church. It depends on your foreground subject and the sky you're using as to which one you use, but I reckon sort of 80% of the time you'll want multiply selected here. But you can just have a look and see what the difference is and see which one you prefer and which blend works most effectively with your picture. So after that, we have lighting adjustment, and this again affects this strip along here. All these things will be done automatically using the artificial intelligence algorithms within Photoshop, but you can tweak them to get your image looking how you want it. You can see there by moving it to the left, I get more of that brighter church, and moving it to the right, I get a darker church. So it's this strip through here where the sky joins the land. That's the bit that's being affected by the lighting adjustment. For the color adjustment, this again, we're looking at the foreground, of course. So if we take it to the left, we warm things up. If we take it to the right, we cool things down. So we've got kind of a brightness and color adjustment going on, quite subtle, and it's sort of designed to be within range so you get a natural looking result coming out. So you can move your color adjustment slider around just to suit your image. And really, it's just looking at the picture and moving it to whatever gives you the best result. Down at the bottom, we've got output, and you've got two choices here, new layers or duplicate layer. And the one I recommend you use is the new layers option, because that's going to give you all of your adjustments in the layers panel. So once we've done all that, if we, we need to brighten that sky up a little bit, don't we? So let me just go back up. We'll go to the sky adjustments. We'll brighten it up slightly, bring that up there, something like that. Temperature. It's a bit too blue at the moment, so we'll take it more towards the yellow. We'll warm it up a little bit just to get it looking right. That looks okay there. Lighting adjustment looks okay. Color adjustment, I like that warm foreground, so that looks pretty good. Okay, so we're done now. We've got a new sky in place. All we have to do is click on OK with the new layers output selected, and we will get our layers panel. Now, what this gives you is all of the adjustments that clever tool has made, and gives you the whole layers panel there with everything in place. So you can switch them all off and go back to your original, or you can put them on one by one and see what everything's doing. And if you know your layers and how to manipulate layers and use them, then you can actually go in on the individual layer and make changes to that layer if you want to do that. But you don't have to. This is all kind of done automatically and all kept in a sky replacement group at the top. So you can hide all the clever stuff and not worry too much about it. Just look at your results and see if they're working as effectively as you want them to. Okay, well, let's pick something else. I'm going to get rid of that group now. So all I have to do is drag it to the trash, just drag it down there and let go. And I go back to my original image with no sky replacement at all. So your original picture isn't touched at any time until you flatten the whole thing or save it out as a JPEG. Nothing affects your original image, so you can always go back to where you started from if you want to. So let's try another one now. All we do, got our image open, so we go up to Edit, down to Sky Replacement, and that loads up that same palette with whatever we used last. Now, if we go back to this sky box here, once it's processed, there we go. If we open it up, you can see we've got the blue, we've got the spectacular, we've got the sunsets, and then we've got a large gap. And it's in this gap that you can add your own skies if you want to. And this is what I'd recommend so you're not using the standard supplied Photoshop skies. So to do that, make sure you've got none of them selected. Don't click on any of them, just have them all unselected. Just click in the gap to do that. And then all we have to do is hit this little plus icon here to give us the option to load up a new sky. So let's click on the plus icon here, and that will then load up your file browser and allow you to find a bunch of skies that you've already shot and have got on your system somewhere. So you simply navigate through in the normal way, find wherever your skies are on your system, and I've got a folder here where I've got 25 skies I've shot at various times of the year, and I can select one of those and import it. Make them as JPEGs, that's the quickest. It will load RAW files as well, but JPEGs are just easier generally speaking because they're smaller files to start with. So then you can click on any of your skies, whatever you want to choose. Let's go for sky number 1 here from my set, and then you click Open. And what that does, it loads that new sky into the interface. You have to give it a name first so you can rename it if you want to, or just click OK to whatever name your sky has. Once you've done that, it appears in this big space here underneath, so you can actually start loading up your own skies into the sky replacement command. Now you have to do them one by one. I presume at some later date you'll be able to do a whole group of skies and put them all in one go, but for the time being it's a one by one, sky by sky job. So once you've got one in, you have to do the next one individually, so click on the plus icon once more and we can select sky 2 for example. So we'll click Open on that one, and that also will load in. So what you have to do now is just select whichever sky you want. You've got your own custom skies here, and you can load them in exactly the same way as the preset skies. Once you've loaded a bunch in, if you want to put them in a group, that's easy to do as well. Just click on this icon here, then you can give it a name, and we can call it, for example, John's Skies. Click OK, and you'll get a new folder, and to put your new skies into your new folder, all you do is select them. So click on one, hold down Shift and click on the other one, and then you can drag them into that new group, and there they are. Now they can work exactly the same as the preset skies. So if I want to use this sky here, all I've got to do is click on it, then it will be loaded, and then to adjust it and blend it and make those fine-tuning adjustments we talked about earlier, all I've got to do is click off that box, and I've got my shift edge, fade edge, all the usual adjustments that we can use just as we did with Photoshop skies. So for this one, I might want to warm up my foreground a bit more. So let's take that warmth in. Let's get a bit more in. There we go. That's the kind of thing there. Multiply. I can try screen. Oh, no, definitely not screen. We'll go for multiply there. We can scale the sky. Let's just take it in maybe a little bit more. Beef it up in size. Then with the move tool selected, we can move it around and get it exactly where we want it. And I'll get a bit of shift edge. Let's try that. That's just give me a little bit of blend. That's quite nice. There we go. So you can kind of manipulate the sky, move it around, and then make these adjustments to make it suit your image. And once you're happy with the changes you've made and the new sky replacement, and you've made sure that everything's looking good and your edges are looking intact and quite natural, all you do is click OK with the new layers output, and it'll immediately turn up in your layers panel so you can make any further adjustments, or indeed flatten it and save it out as a JPEG. So I hope that was useful. A quick whirlwind tour of the sky replacement command. It saves loads of time compared to the old way of doing it manually, and it's really good. I'll be using this as a preferred method for replacing skies going forward, because it's so quick and so easy, there's not really a good reason not to. Alright, hope you found that helpful. That's the sky replacement command, which you'll find in Photoshop 2021. Have a play with it, see how you get on, and start shooting yourself a sky library if you want to go to the dark side and manipulate your skies to make your images look a little bit more special. Alright, cheers. See you next time.